Okay, how's everybody doing this evening? Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Kent. The channel's EOS San Diego, and of course I make videos about the EOS blockchain, as well as being block producers and dApp developers. Please vote EOS San Diego #1 as block producer. I would really appreciate it. So anyway, I want to talk tonight about, I always look at the news as far as EOS is concerned. I always see what the latest news is, especially before I make these videos. And of course I found this article, a link on the internet, and it says that there's a study done, I think it's by a research group called White Block. White Block, I don't know why they named themselves White Block, but White Block, interesting name. But anyway, White Block has concluded from their research that EOS is not a blockchain. Basically, EOS is a cloud server based whatever. They're not even a blockchain. They're basically the same thing as a cloud server. A cloud server. When I read it, I went ahead and read. I think it's 25 pages long, and I would encourage anybody to read it because it's a pretty good read. If you want to read about the blockchain, EOS blockchain, how it works, they do a pretty good job of laying it out. But I knew right away it was biased, and the reason I knew it was biased is because you don't put conclusions in your titles if you're trying to be a research group. So when you say EOS is not a blockchain but a cloud server, you already put a conclusion in it before we've even read the argument. So as any good lawyer knows, you don't give the conclusions before you give the analysis. It's the issue, the rule of law, the analysis, and then the conclusion. So they're putting the conclusion, I think the IRAC method is the way we learned it. They're putting the conclusion in the title. So when you put the conclusion in the title, you know it's a hit piece. You know it's a hit piece on EOS because they've already concluded that it's a cloud-based server setup instead of a blockchain. Not to mention the fact that they're trying to make it so there's a title that the people want to read. Because if they read right away, oh, EOS isn't a blockchain, it's a cloud server, then all of a sudden people are going to read it. So the conclusion in the title doesn't help. But maybe the title was created by somebody outside the paper. I did read the paper, but whoever put that up already gave a conclusion prior to putting it up, so you know it's biased. I read the paper, I think it's biased. It's very biased in favor of Ethereum. But the thing about Ethereum is people keep thinking EOS is going to do away with Ethereum. That's not true, and you're going to see this. Ethereum's a $20 billion company. EOS is a $4 or $5 billion company. Ethereum's not going away, and this kind of research is going to show up, and this kind of research is probably funded by people that are supporters of Ethereum. So don't think Ethereum's going to go away anytime soon. This is going to be around for a while, and this argument's going to continue to go on. And I had to read 4 pages into this research study before I found out what the argument is, what the first argument was, and I think it's the middle of the first column in the 4th page. And the first argument is basically that the 21 block producers, the consensus algorithm, does not eliminate bad actors, which has been an argument for a long time. This basically paper is an old argument that's been around forever. It's the same old argument that just keeps getting recycled. And the argument is the block producers are colluding, you can't trust them, it doesn't eliminate bad actors. They make some other arguments, but this is the old argument that's been around forever, which means the consensus algorithm, the verification of I think more than 15 block producers, maybe that have to agree before they process a block. Before the information is put on the blockchain, they have to be a consensus agreement. So 15 have to agree. They're arguing in this paper that does not eliminate bad actors. I happen to think whenever you get 15 out of 21 agreeing on something, you had a pretty good chance of being true. So I don't know how much more you can do. But we're going back to the original argument, which is the DPoS, delegated proof of stake, versus the proof of work algorithm, and the argument of the proof of work algorithm being a more purist protocol, more purist way of doing it. More, I guess what you would say, more decentralized way of doing it. And I was trying to think of a way of putting this argument in a way that people would be able to kind of see it, visualize it. And I would say that the proof of work algorithm is almost like the square tire on a car. I mean, it may roll, but not very well. It's going to go clunk, 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 versus putting the round tire on the car, which is more of something of a trusted DPoS delegated proof of stake protocol, which is what EOS is, where there's got to be some element of trust with it in order for the tire to be round and to roll smoothly. And maybe it's not perfect. Maybe you upgrade the tire, you go from a bias tire to a radial tire to maybe even a better tire than that, but it's the only way you can do this and make it work. The proof of work protocol, the square tire on a car, is never going to work. It's just never going to work. It's always going to be a clunky, slow, not very fast system. The DPOS system is a very fast system. Could be a lot faster and could be a lot better. I mean, and I'm going to have a train coming here pretty quick. So I'm going to be interrupted, or I'm going to conclude this video. Hopefully I can conclude this video. But anyway, what I want to say about this is I read the paper. It's 25 pages long. I would encourage anybody to read the paper because it is well written. It's kind of a hit piece on EOS, but that's okay because there's going to be a lot. That just shows us a lot of interest in the space and a lot of people vying for some positioning in the space. But it is a sensational. It has a conclusionary title. I don't know if the actual company made that title or if it's one that's out on the internet, but that's the one on the internet with a conclusionary title. But anyway, go ahead and read the paper. It's a pretty interesting paper. But we're still back at the same old argument, and we're still trying to decide which is the better protocol. Obviously, if you watch my videos, you got to have some trust in this network. I'm a block producer. I know we're not doing anything in collusions or talking to anybody else. I don't think many other block producers would do this or would do this. I don't think Block One would allow it. I hear it all the time. It's a straw man argument where people will say, oh, the block producers are colluding. The block producers are up to this. Block producers aren't doing something like that. It's not in their best interest to collude, and it's not in their best interest to do something that would be not in the best interest of the blockchain. It would not help them. It would not be in the best interest of the block producer. So it doesn't even make a logical argument that there is some sort of collusion and there's some sort of ability for this not to work because it allows bad actors. It doesn't even make a logical argument, let alone a philosophical or an argument mathematically. So anyway, I'll put the link to the white block paper below. Go ahead and read it. Like I say, it's a good written, well written, as far as how the blockchain works and a little bit of interest. If you want to understand the EOS blockchain, that's a good place to start. Read that paper. A little bit boring, but it does make sense, and I do think it was well written. And somebody put some money into it, but it doesn't add up. I appreciate you watching. Thank you very much.